easiest way to sew this trending fitted gown by Total Nigeria Women. Now, this particular fitted gown has two side pockets. It has sweetheart neck and it has yoke on it. Equally has collar band. So these are the little details in this dress. So let's cut it together. If you have not subscribed to the channel, guys, do subscribe. If you have any question, drop it on the comment section. For this dress, this is the measurement I'm working with. Shoulder 16, bust 42, waist 40, and hip 48. Half length is 17. Now the gown length is 38 plus 1 inch, 1.5 inches for the folding and sewing, and I have about 39.5. Okay, now this is the fabric I will be using to make this dress. I have about four for my yoke. I have about 4 different fabrics, but I'm confused on which one to take. I have the black, I have the stripes, I have the dotted, but at the cost of this, maybe by the time I finish cutting, I'll decide what to use. And I'm using pattern paper to start the initial cutting to avoid wasting fabrics. Okay, so the first thing is to fold your pattern paper into 2. Now, because of this pattern paper, I did not add any sewing allowance to my calculation. All right, now mark your shoulder, mark your armhole depth. All right, once you mark your armhole depth, which I went for 8, okay, you mark your half length. All right, you mark the gown length and hip line. Okay, so just take out your time and mark out the necessary lines. Once you mark them, we have marked the waist. From the waist, you indicate your hip, which I went for 26. Okay, this is the hip line. Then the remaining end of the fabric is the gown length. Here is the gown length. Okay, now having marked all this, the next thing we'll go ahead is also mark your shoulder right at that B, right at the armhole. You mark your shoulder again, which is 8. You connect it and curve your armhole normally the way we do cover armhole. Then the next thing we'll do is mark your basic measurement. Now I took my time to zoom this picture to see if I can see the kind of dart they use. I did not see any dart. Okay, now mind you, you can use any kind of dart. You can even use a bustier if you choose to. Any kind of dart can go for this dress. Waist dart, princess dart, bustier, but I'm using a princess dart for this. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect it from my waist to the bust, just the necessary connection. All right, once that is done, we'll mark our neck width. Now neck width for collar is 3 by 3 or 2 3/4 by 3 inches. Okay, then you slant your shoulder by 1 inches. Your neck width cannot be more than 3 inches if you're going for this collar, so that it will not be wide on the neck. Okay, now having marked the basic things, the next thing I need to determine right now is my bust point, which I'm going for 10. All right, having marked the bust point, this is my bust point, BP. I'll start there and mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half. That is 4.5. I am marking 4.5. This is 4.5 all through. That is what I'm marking. Okay, now from the waist, you measure 5 inches. That is the point where our dart will stop. Now, this line I drew now, you can draw it straight down to the end of the pattern or the fabric. But because of I do not want it long, I went for a shorter dart. Okay, so you connect it. My dart intake, I took half inches. You use your French curve, connect it for our princess dart. Okay, you connect princess dart the way it should be connected. I usually go down this way, especially when I want a more curvy princess dart. All right, so you curve it. Once it is curved, the next thing is our sweetheart neck. Indicate where you want it. According to the picture, it's half of the neck Then the depth, I went for 9. What I marked now is the neck depth, which is 9. Then you place your French curve this way and get your sweetheart neck. Okay, now this is what we have in the upper part of it. All right, now what I'll do is cut this part. This is my yoke. What I'm cutting out now is my yoke. All right, the other part I will cut the part that I do not need. All right, just like the curve the sides, all these parts. Okay, then we'll go to the cutting on the fabrics. Okay, now for the dart, it will be cut when cutting it on the fabric. That is when I'll be cutting the dart. So with the way it is, I'll take it over and bring my fabric. All right, I'll take it over and bring my fabrics and place it and trace it down. Remember, this dart can go straight down. Now this is it. Okay, you place it very well. You can see it. Then remember, the length of the pattern paper is not up to 39.5. So first thing is to increase your length here. Okay, increase the length first, make it to be complete length. Then you come by the side, add your sewing allowance of 2.5 inches. Add your sewing allowance of 2.5 inches all through. At the waist, you can go for 3 inches because that is where that intake is more. All right, so you connect it all down. Connect it all down. Then once that is done, so once you're done adding the allowances, right at the waist, 2 inches above the waist and 5 or 6 inches below the waist, you mark them. Then you carve out your pocket. This dress has pockets. Okay, you can see how I curved it. You carve out your side pocket because I want the pocket all sewn together. That is why I'm going this way. All right, there are other ways you can do it, but if you do not want it this way, it is very okay. You move ahead. Now we cut. Okay, we'll start with the princess sweetheart neck part of it. The yoke part, we cut it out. Okay, I'm cutting the sides, the armhole. Just follow it this way that I'm going. Then you cut all the sides. The down here, remember the pattern paper length is 35 or 34 and the original length we are going for is 39. So you can see where my extension comes from. Okay, now this is the basics. This is it. All right, this is it. Now the one of Total Nigeria Women, this dress is fully lined. All right, it is fully lined. After cutting it this way, we have to cut our lining too. Okay, so having done this, we'll take out the darts. You can equally see that this is how I cut the dart on the fabric. Okay, our front dart, it did not get to the end of the fabric. Yours can get to the end of the fabric straight if you choose to. All right, so this is it. Now our front is ready. Let's pack this and cut the back. I will still use the same pattern paper to get my back. The difference is that the back is not a sweetheart neck. It is straight, as you can see on the picture. Okay, the back is straight. So we will be following straight this way and cut. All right, so remember the back has zip. We have to put into consideration the zip allowance. Okay, then we'll add our allowances by the sides this way. Connect it straight down. Down here you add our remaining length. Okay, equally add your sewing allowance by the side. Now the back of this dress will be a normal waist dart. Will be a normal waist dart for the back of this dress. All right. So then we'll cut. Remember the pocket, you equally curve the pocket the same way we curved the other one. 2 inches above the half length and 5-6 inches below the half length. So you curve, that is the same length, the same measurement. Now you can see how I'm cutting straight. I did not cut it curved like a sweetheart neck. Remember your zip allowance of 1.5 inches. So you connect all. Connect with the pocket. All right, then here you open it up, open the sides. Now our back is ready. You can see my back. This is the back. The upper part is just straight, just like you saw in the picture. If you want, you can make it V if you want. Okay, so this is our back. The next thing we'll cut now is the yoke. We have to cut the yoke. Now I have to choose between these two, which one to go with. But I decide to go with the black. Okay, I'm using the black. This is black that I'll be using for my yoke. Okay, so I'll just place it this way and use tape to get, markings to get my yoke. First, my armhole depth is 8, so I'll just start from 8 and see where the remaining one is. This first line is giving me 8, the other one is 9. Okay, so we have to mark our shoulder, equally mark the zip allowance. All right, indicate the line where the zip will be. Remember I added 1.5 inches zip and connect it down. Then you mark your neck width. Neck width, remember, is 3 that I used in the front, so neck width will be 3. The depth for this will be 1. Is a collar, is a shirt. In fact, what you do is you use the same neck width you use for your shirts. All right, for this. All right, take out the excesses. Now this is it. I decide to go for my 8. Okay, so I will be using 8 in armhole depth. Cut out this second lines, and this is the accurate line. Then my neck depth is 1.5. Okay, then we curve. It has to be curved. This is how it is. Then you slant your shoulder by 1 inch. Then our yoke is ready. All right, the next thing I will equally do is mark the yoke cut the yoke for the front. Our back is ready. Okay, this is the back already. So this is the front yoke. I have it on paper. So what I'll do is curve. What I'll do is curve. Now remember to give 1/2 inches for the sweetheart part. When cutting it, 1/2 inches, that is your sewing, because it has to be sewn. So remember to make provision 1/2 inches. Then you slant it, the shoulder, place it where, and cut all the pattern. Now my yoke is ready. This is it. All right, so guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe. If you have any question, drop it on the comment section. Now for the sewing video, all right, watch the part 2 of this video. At the end of this, you see the part 2. Watch the part 2. You see the sewing, all right, the sewing video and the end result. This is the lining. Remember, it is full lining. So you go ahead this way and cut the lining, full lining. So exactly the length of the fabric, the width, that is what you cut for a full lining. All right. In this video, this is the cutting process. Then the part 2 is the sewing process. So make sure you watch the part 2. Okay. So this is equally the front. I'm cutting the full lining. All right, you can see the dart too. I equally cut the dart the same way I cut the fabric. This is it. Then we'll cut the side this way. All right, cut it down. It is full lining, so just follow the process. This is it, all done. This is the next thing is sewing, so watch part.